Hello, welcome to my channel. Today is the next day. um, this is how I opened up the Nikki video, so I thought it was a good way to open up the Isabel video. So, welcome Isabel. Yeah, so this is my Isabel. I am so happy to have her. I honestly, I knew I was gonna walk away with Nikki when I went to the American Girl store. uh, close to their release time, but when I'd heard there had been some issues with Isabel, so I knew if I found one I liked, I'd probably get her. There are some things to watch out for if you decide to get Isabel in store. And honestly, it was just a lot of nitpicky stuff. It wasn't. There's really no fundamental flaws with a lot of the dolls I saw. It was just certain, especially with the eye characteristics that were kind of off-putting, and it has nothing to do with the green eyes. I love these green eyes. It's not focusing. Okay, let me get her out of the box. Okay, so here is Miss Isabel Hoffman. I was not, still am not as drawn to Isabel as I was Nikki. Isabel is this, the exact opposite. Feels like the exact opposite. I think that's part of what they tell about in their story. Um, I I'm trying to reserve judgment on the character of Isabel until I read her book, but I get such a Mean Girls vibe. And honestly, I didn't watch Clueless until until these girls were announced and like people thought her silhouette looked like Cher from Clueless. And then, yeah, it's an okay movie, but I just, do I want an American Girl to be like Cher? No, not really. Um, it was funny, and I'm sorry if you're a super fan of Clueless, but it just wasn't for me. Um, so, and that's part of just who I am and how I grew up, and that's what it is. Um, okay, about the doll itself. Sorry, that was a quick zoom in. So the biggest issue that people, if you do have a chance to go into the store, um, one was, so her eyes are set back further in her head, and I think that's what it leads to some eye weirdness. Like even mine, looking at her now, her eyes are not perfectly symmetrical, and this was honestly one of the better looking ones. There's just slight asymmetries because of how the eyes were set back in the head. Um, that it just made some of them look a little off. The green eyes are not the reason. They are beautiful. They're awesome. But a lot of it, I mean, like you can see it now. It's like you can see some into that socket. And I think that is what, for some people, that's really irksome. And it bothers me a little, but not enough to, um, like you don't see it as bad over here. Like you don't see a little bit into the socket, but this one is, you can really see into that socket. And that's really what it was. It was always this eye, was always something slightly off about it. And I don't know exactly why. This is very much not what you see with, like if I bring Nikki over here, you don't see, let me zoom in, there we go. You don't see that eye socket gap on her eye. So I don't know. I mean, they're supposed to be the same face mold, right? So what about Nikki, or what about Isabel made it so different that her eye, how the eye actually sits in the head is so different? I don't know. Maybe they're two different, manufacturing sites. I'm not sure, with different quality control people. I don't know, but that's the one thing I know has been, that I wouldn't have believed it if I hadn't seen it in the store, but that's really what's happening. The other piece is that as I was checking out, and my friends were checking out from the store, one of the people, since we clearly we're all adult collectors, shopping at the store together, taking all the dolls out to look at all of them. Yeah, they were probably talking about us. The workers of the store were probably talking about. That's okay. We're going to live with these dolls for the rest of our lives. They need to look great. And it's a lot of money. So, but when we were checking out, one of the cashiers said, before you get too far, make sure you check Isabel's wig, because there have been some dolls apparently when they, brand new doll, checked out at the, just purchased and then taken to the doll salon right there in the same store. And some of the stylists were finding that some wefts of hair were falling out, which, I would be upset as a parent to see that if I was a parent and purchased this for a kid, but especially for an adult collector, like that's kind of a big deal. So that's why her hairnet is already off. I'm going to turn around. I did not have that issue with my Isabel. I've also heard some people say that she doesn't have an even cut across the back. And I don't see that with mine either. I see maybe it's a little choppy, but it's not too bad for mine. But I did not have any like big wefts falling out. I'd also heard that sometimes the faux leather of the shoes was peeling, but that fortunately is not on my doll either. So like I said, I think I got a really good one, because I was fortunate to have a chance to go to the store. But I have heard from other reviewers on YouTube and just in all the other American Girl associated places that I am in, people are getting good-looking Isabels through the mail too. So I wouldn't be too worried if you only have the mail option. I know my store will probably close in the next 2 to 3 years, and I'll be back to mail only. But it's always special when you can pick out a doll. So if you do have the chance to pick out a doll and you're only buying one, I as much as I love Nikki, go for Isabel, just because some of her eyes are kind of weird. Anyway, about the doll itself, she's got this lovely blonde hair. Her wig is very thick. Her wig is very thick. I love that the print of the skirt matches the print of Nikki's shirt. I think that was really good strategy in selling them as twins, so that they're twinning just in their own style. Now, my biggest complaint with this get up, and I know some people absolutely love the platform shoes. I think they look ridiculous. I mean, they look ridiculous. And I'm sorry if that's not what you think, but that is my personal opinion. I'm here to share my opinion, and I think no. There were ways to do like preppier shoes without going full platform, especially if these dolls are supposed to be 9. Like, come on. I mean, even like I said with Nikki's video, I treat them as like 13ish. Really, a 13-year-old? No. High schooler, yes, definitely. Especially, for if when you think about Cher, she was a 17-year-old, or like a junior or senior in high school. Like, sure, maybe in an area of high fashion, yeah, sure, absolutely. But this just looks ridiculous. I think once I love like the Mary Jane look of it. Like that I think is great. And the T-strap, that's great. It's the platforms. It honestly is the platforms. I wish these were just pink Mary Jane shoes, which I think would have been very on trend, even with the high socks. But the platforms are just, it's too much for me. And really why, I think the rest of the outfit looks great. I know there's some complaints. I do know there are some complaints about the top being one piece. And, I've heard some reviews of like, oh, that's just American Girl being cheap. No, that is historically accurate. Okay, if these dolls are historical, I can say that. This is historically accurate. You know what would have made it more historically accurate? A necklace that was attached here and brought down, like a locket or something, that it was physically attached to the shirt. This was the thing is to have these multi-layered looks that it was actually only one shirt. Because guess what? You only had to wash one piece of clothing, but it looked like you were doing the layering thing. I had so many shirts like this. And actually, I still have one that I wear to work sometimes. It's not as complex as this, but it looks like a sweater, but then it has a faux collar attached to the top of it. So it looks like I'm wearing two shirts, but I'm actually wearing one. And sorry, that's a style. It doesn't is it cheaper? Yes, it's absolutely cheaper than buying two shirts. But for the late 90s, early 2000s, that was very, very common. So I'm going to say that is actually historically accurate on American Girl's part, not cheap. Um, yes, the non-working buttons. Yeah, that's also historically accurate. Okay. So, Isabel has her top, she has her skirt. I'm gonna guess her skirt is just basic, a Velcro in the back. The shirt is Velcro all the way down. Yep, little Velcro here in the back. And I didn't show undies. I really don't want to do that on camera either, though. I'll go over here. Look over there for a second. Underwear. Yep, same as the Truly Me's plain pink underwear. I'm going to assume Nikki's wearing the same. I actually didn't look. But yeah. So Nikki was my first love. I'm really glad, as someone who primarily focuses on historical dolls, I know it doesn't seem like that with the reviews on my channel. It's just I already have a lot of the historical stuff. So that's why when a new historical character comes out, I am happy to review everything and add that to my channel and my collection. But Nikki was my first love, and honestly, Isabel is here because I think I'm gonna enjoy this doll as well, but I'm gonna have to get her out of those platforms before I can really start seeing her. I don't know if you hear that in the background, but my dog is whining at me, so I'm gonna wrap this up and take care of him. And in the next video, I will do Isabel's accessories, which I do think will make this look just like Nikki's did. Will make this outfit look more complete. So thanks for watching, and I hope to see you next time.